What's up, people? This is Detroit Miracle. Who's your friend? That is true, people. All of y'all can trust me because I do not lie to y'all. And I do not tell half truths or partial truths, but rather I tell the whole truth, the entire truth, and nothing but the truth. And I point out key social issues that affects all of us in society. Yes, I am very much affected by those things too, despite the fact of being Detroit Miracle. Just because you try to assist people, aid people, and correct people, that doesn't mean that you yourself don't have the same problems as those same very people do. Yeah, people. Well, there's a new president in office, and he's been president now for what? How many months? Well, it's been much of the year thus far. And despite that fact, we're still dealing with the same conditions, issues, dilemmas, and problematics. And before this new elected president was placed in office, society still continued on pretty much in the same manner, which was, in fact, chaotic, of a mixture of good and bad, meaning there was still crime, there was still unemployment, there was still racial inequality, there was still a huge wealth gap between the rich and poor. And I'm going to get back to this, the election before this new current president went into office. Look how those people were acting fanatical over this presidential election. Look how they were acting like such devoted followers. But nevertheless, whoever and whomever is president, those same people deal with the same things. They deal with crime, unemployment, poverty, inequality, the huge wealth gap between the rich and poor, as well as natural cause disasters. And let me throw in something else, uh, health issues in which they themselves become ill at times. You understand where I'm coming from, people? None of these presidents have truly corrected all of these serious problems and issues that we face. No matter who is president, we still must deal with the same serious issues that society doesn't need or want. That's why I'm saying, and I've said it before, the people as a whole being consolidated has enough wealth, authority, power to make changes in areas that will make things better for every single one in society. And like I said before, everybody is conditioned to wait on one savior to come and make everything better. But with these new presidents that come and goes, that doesn't happen, and that's a fact of the matter. We have a Democratic president in office, but there are still cases of racism involving police pulling over black people or treating certain black people unfairly. And not all cops are racist, I know. And before that president was in office, this new current president, we dealt with those same issues. And long before that, too. It seems as though no matter which president is in office, they do not want to make that a first priority of establishing equality for everyone. They do not want to make it a top priority to shorten the wealth gap between the rich and poor. When I say that, that means the majority of the population is poor, the majority amongst the billions, and a whole lot of people are middle class, in which they are doing much better than the poor or impoverished, and a slim majority of the population are rich or incredibly rich, and in some cases, mega rich amongst that particular rich social class. And with that being the case, no president in history has ever made drastic changes to make things more evenly fair for everybody. And I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say that every president has been bad and did a bad job. There's been good presidents. There's been both good and bad presidents, and there's been bad presidents. What I'm really getting at is place no greater faith in one that you would place in yourself as a whole or singularly personification of a being, which means you have an agenda. And in some cases, if you want to make changes, you can organize groups for specific reasons and purposes to make those changes. You could do a lot more yourself, for yourself and for others in some cases than the president would do for you in regards to that issue you want to change. So place no greater faith in that man as a leader over this so-called free society than you would place over yourself. But instead place all the faith, overwhelmingly so, in God, who most certainly can make changes, drastic or otherwise. Yes, people. And I'm not necessarily picking on the presidents who have been in office. I'm saying they follow a certain system in society that's routinely implemented, and it must go on. Like it said that no matter who is president, there still must be a great number of poor people who are dependent on rich people or rich persons. And amongst that rich conglomerate of conglomerates is the governmental system. Yes, the government wants you dependent upon it for many intended purposes, because that government is the embodiment and standard of power and excellence in whatever particular society that you live in. Well, people, I hope you enjoyed this message, and please drop those likes, comments, and up those subscriptions to Detroit Miracle.